So we will start our lecture for today with a video of plant breeding. Let me share the screen. So the procedure starts with the germplasm collection. Whenever we are performing and breeding experiment, our main aim is to mix the characteristics of plants, and we do it for the purpose. So obviously, when we are trying for a desirable plant, we choose the best. Best से ही हम शुरू करते हैं. Okay, so that's why this is a very nice video which includes all the
Plant breeding.
steps.
Plants are the most important.
I guess the screen is visible and sound is audible to you. I request everyone to pay attention. If like any step is not understood by you, let me know at the end of the video. We will talk about it. Okay, I'm starting.
Organisms on this planet. They occupy the bottommost part of the food chain. They are often referred to as producers, and all other organisms are directly or indirectly dependent on plants. Almost 85% of the world's food consumed by humans is plant-based. The plants grown for food are called food crops. Food crops are highly dependent on water availability, soil, and climatic conditions. Sometimes, due to environmental conditions like drought, the crops do not produce sufficient food or the crops fail. This leads to acute shortage of food in that region. It is called as famine. In the year 1943, the Great Bengal famine is estimated to have caused the deaths of up to 4 million people. Also, as the population increases, food production must also increase. And if the food production does not increase, it will cause food crisis. As the land for agriculture is very limited, it is necessary to improve the productivity of the crops per acre. Previously, we have learnt that by implementing animal breeding, we were able to improve the quality and productivity of farm animals. Similarly, by plant breeding, it is also possible to improve the quality and productivity of the food crops. Plant breeding is defined as science of changing the genetic traits of plants in order to create desired plant types that are better suited for cultivation, gives better yields, and have good resistance to diseases. Plant breeding is not a new technology. It is a very old one. Earlier, man used to deliberately crossbreed closely related plant varieties to produce a new plant of desired trait. Nowadays, breeders try to incorporate the following desirable traits in an improved variety: increased crop yield, improved quality, increased tolerance to environmental stresses like salinity, extreme temperatures, drought, and frost, increased resistance to pathogens, increased tolerance to insect pests. This process of breeding closely related individuals that are genetically different to produce a hybrid offspring is known as hybridization. Scientists Gregor Mendel and Charles Darwin effectively demonstrated hybridization within a plant species. After that, the process was further developed by many plant breeders. Plant breeding is a systematic process. The entire process of plant breeding, starting from choosing desirable qualities of plant to the final product, is broadly divided into 5 main steps. Let us learn about them one by one. Step 1. Collection of variability. We know that plant of particular species will have different varieties on different parts of the planet. Each variety will have few different sets of traits that are different from each other. This is known as genetic variation. For example, ragi. There are about total 121 natural variants of ragi on this planet. Every one of them is different from each other by few traits. Some show disease resistance to particular bug and show drought resistance. Some give high yield and no resistance to drought. Some give less yield and show drought resistance, etc. All these are desirable characters. So to create a new variety of ragi with better characteristics, it would be better if one knows all the natural varieties of ragi available on this planet. From that, it would be easy to select the best required traits for the new plant. From the year 1971, under the guidance of International Board of Plant Genetic Resources, IBPGR, several institutes have started collecting all the naturally available plants and seeds, having all diverse alleles for all genes in a given crop, from different geographic locations on this planet, and made a library out of it. This library is called as Germplasm Collection. This forms a resource from which new varieties are created. Currently, most of the crops have germplasm with more than 100 varieties. Due to availability of vast germplasm, any breeder can now easily manipulate different combination of alleles in order to create a superior plant. There are 2 germplasm collection centers in India. These are International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, ICRISAT, at Hyderabad, and National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources, NBPGR, at New Delhi. Step 2. Evaluation and selection of parents. When varieties were first collected, it was completely based on easily distinguishable characters. However, plants' variations are due to the environmental conditions present at that time, which is temporary. For example, suppose researchers collected a dwarf plant from drought region and named it as dwarf plant. But when this variety was cultivated under normal environmental conditions, the plant grew tall. It means that the dwarfness was not actually the trait of the plant. It was just a result of environmental conditions. In order to avoid such type of errors, careful evaluation and characterization is required to know about the composition of the germplasm and the diversity of the given crop. Let us learn how the plants are evaluated and characterized. Before the plants are evaluated, the plants are tested for pureness. If a plant has more than one type of allele for a particular trait, it is called heterozygous. Such plants are rejected, and only pure plants or homozygous plants are subjected to further evaluation. Now, let's learn about plant evaluation. First, all the samples are grown in the field under controlled environmental conditions with good protection. Then, it is made sure that the plants completely adapt to the place they are grown. This ensures that all their traits are completely expressed. Once they are adapted, the plants are tested under various stressful conditions such as pathogens, salinity, drought, etc. All the responses are recorded. Apart from this, the plants are also tested in laboratory for different molecular and biochemical characteristics. Once all the enzymes and the biochemicals produced are known, the information is neatly recorded and labeled on the plant. Using this wide range of information, scientists can easily select plants for breeding. The selected plants are later inbred or self-pollinated to obtain pure copies of the homozygous parents. Cross-hybridization among
I would like to intervene here, and we will talk now about the first 2 steps. So what do you understood about the first 2 steps? Let me know. Let me talk about that first. So first step was collection of germplasm, and the second step of whatever collected germplasm we had, it's about evaluating that germplasm. So what do you think? Why it is so important? Anyone, any idea? So let us understand the concept here. Once again, I am also telling that breeding, the purpose of breeding is to get a plant or animal. Here we are talking about plant, that's why I am mentioning plant, with desirable character. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
So consider I am taking consider a rice plant. Okay. Now the thing in this rice plant is that it is very much one of them. I want to develop a rice plant which is considered water logging, or rather to say, let's take something easy. It is drought resistance. Do you know what is drought resistance? What are the characteristics that should be there in drought resistance plants? क्या होता है drought resistant plant means? What is it? क्लास
मैम अपने अंदर वाटर स्टोर करके रख सकता है।
स्टोर करके तो कभी नहीं रख सकता बेटा। राइस प्लांट कहाँ से वाटर स्टोर करेगा बच्चा? It cannot store water. See, the basic structure.
लॉस ऑफ वाटर धीरे धीरे होगा।
हाँ, and it can survive in a condition where there is presence of less water. Okay, so I took a plant which is drought resistance and I want to breed it with another plant with high quantity of product or high yield. Okay, so these two products I am going to get breeding. Go for breeding of these two characters. Now, is there any measurement of drought resistance? No. How will I know the one I am seeing is best in drought resistance? For that thing, the first step they mention is collection of germplasm. So how it is done? We have seed banks and germplasm banks available in India. They mentioned the names. Okay. So what we need to do, we need to ask for the germplasm, or we need to visit the local areas to collect the germplasm. हमें देखना है, what do we mean by this germplasm? Germplasm means it is the plant or it is the plant variety is called germplasm. हम वैरायटी क्यों नहीं बोलते? क्योंकि अभी तक इसकी कोई वैरायटी वो तब होगा जब उसकी एक स्पेसिफिक नाम लगेगी, उसके ऊपर स्टडी हो जाएगा और वो कोई मार्केट में रिलीज करेगा, वी कॉल इट वैरायटी. उससे पहले वी विल कॉल इट germplasm. अब इट कैन बी स्टोर्ड इन द फॉर्म ऑफ लाइव प्लांट, इट कैन बी स्टोर्ड इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ सीड बैंक, और अभी तक तो ऐसा भी हो गया है, you can store it in the form of DNA also. So ये collection of germplasm is done to have maximum options. सबसे ज्यादा ऑप्शन हमारे पास रहे to ensure that. क्यों? तुम जब कपड़े खरीदते हैं हम तो 4 दुकान देखते हैं कि नहीं देखते? Yes or no? मार्केटिंग करते जाते वक्त. Why we do that? हम क्यों करते हैं ऐसा? प्राची, क्यों कपड़े खरीदते वक्त 4 दुकान घूमते हैं? क्लास?
वैरायटी के लिए।
वैरायटी के लिए, बट तुम्हें तो एक ही खरीदना है, फिर भी हम 4 दुकान घूमते हैं ना, क्यों घूमते हैं?
Ma'am, may I?
Yes, yes, Yesha.
Ma'am, to find the best one.
वेरी गुड. तो ब्रीडिंग में भी मुझे अगर ड्रॉट रेजिस्टेंस चाहिए तो ऑब्वियसली ड्रॉट के लिए रेजिस्टेंस विल वेरी इन पॉपुलेशन. नो, वो वेरी करेगा पॉपुलेशन में. किसी के पास बहुत ज्यादा ड्रॉट रेजिस्टेंस है, किसी के पास बहुत कम ड्रॉट रेजिस्टेंस है. सो आई फर्स्ट वांट टू स्टडी द वैरायटी. हम जब दुकान से दुकान घूमते हैं हम क्या करते हैं एग्जैक्टली? वी एक्चुअली स्टडी द वैरायटी एंड वी कलेक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन. अच्छा, इस दुकान में पता है ये अच्छा है, उस दुकान में पता है वो अच्छा है. फोन खरीदते वक्त हम कितनी रिव्यूज पढ़ते हैं ना नेट में कि भाई कौन सा फोन ज्यादा रहे. अच्छा, इसका ये पार्ट अच्छा है, इसका ये पार्ट अच्छा है, तो ये लूंगा, वो लेने वाली हूँ. सो दिस इज द वे, सेम वे टू हैव मैक्सिमम ऑप्शंस. We collect the germplasm. Once the germplasm is collected, we need to test the variety. Why this is done? अब समझो एक फील्ड में तुमने एक प्लांट की मेजरमेंट ली. दिस प्लांट इज नोन एज हाईएस्ट हाइट. इसकी हाइट सबसे ज्यादा है. अब क्या होता है बेटा, अब किसी वजह से शायद उस प्लांट को फेवरेबल कंडीशन मिल गया था इसलिए उसकी हाइट ज्यादा है. उसको खाद थोड़ी ज्यादा मिल गई थी, उसको सनलाइट दूसरों के मुकाबले ज्यादा मिला था, इसीलिए वो उसकी हाइट ज्यादा है. कैन वी कंसिडर दैट कैरेक्टर एज अ परमानेंट कैरेक्टर? यस और नो? ऐसा जरूरी है कि एक इंसान खाने के शौकीन है और वो मोटा है तो उसका नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में उसका जो बच्चा होगा वो मोटा होगा ही होगा? ऐसा जरूरी है? वो भी उतना ही खाएगा. हो सकता है हेल्थ कॉन्शियस हो सकता है कि नहीं हो सकता है?
Yes, ma'am.
कंसिडर करो कुछ कुछ कैरेक्टर्स हमारे होते हैं विच कैन बी इनहेरिटेड, मतलब वो हमेशा नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में पास होने के चांसेस है बिकॉज दोस कैरेक्टर्स आर डिसाइडेड बाय डीएनए. अब समझो मेरे पास बायोलॉजी की नॉलेज है, थोड़ी ना जरूरी है कि मेरे बेटे के पास भी हो. ये नॉलेज तो मैंने गेन किया है ना. उसको अगर इतनी नॉलेज चाहिए तो उसको क्या करनी पड़ेगी? पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी. सो सच कैरेक्टर्स आर कॉल्ड एक्वायर्ड कैरेक्टर. बट मेरी जो कम्प्लेक्शन है अगर उसको वो मिला है दैट ही इनहेरिटेड, तो सबसे पहले हमें वही चेक करना पड़ेगा. टेस्टिंग ऑफ वैरायटी मतलब टू चेक द कैरेक्टर्स आर जीनोटाइपिक. सबसे पहले. दूसरी चीज है प्लांट्स आर प्योर ब्रीड. And third thing is to test for the desired character. क्यों ये करेंगे? क्योंकि प्लांट ब्रीडिंग एक्सपेरिमेंट जो होता है बेटा उसमें काफी समय लगता है. आई वॉज टेलिंग यू लास्ट डे दैट अबाउट आप अगर 100 फ्लावर्स में ये कर रहे हो इमेस्कुलेशन टैगिंग बैगिंग, तो देयर आर चांसेस कि 100 में से एक में भी सक्सेसफुल आप ना हो. देयर आर चांसेस कि आप 5 में या 10 में सक्सेसफुल हो. तो आप इतनी लंबी प्रोसेस करोगे. आपको पता चला कि आपने गांव में किसी को पूछा था तो उसने बोला कि अरे यार पूछो मत, ये जो गेहूं का प्लांट है ना पानी ना भी दो तो भी ग्रो हो जाता है. और आपने उसके बाद के भरोसे से वहां से जर्मप्लाज्म कलेक्ट कर लिया एंड यू आर like checking went for the plant breeding experiment. और आपको बाद में पता चला कि अरे बाप रे ये तो उसने झूठ बोला था या फिर उससे मिस्टेक हुई थी. तब क्या होगा? आपने ये जो 6-7 साल काम किया है वो तो पूरा गया पानी में. इसीलिए what they did, they said that they need to test the variety कि क्या उसके कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स प्योर है, क्या वो जीनोटाइपिक है या फिनोटाइपिक है. समझ में आ रहा है? हम इंडियंस में से कुछ इंडियंस फॉरेन में जाके गोरे हो जाते हैं बट वो उनकी ओरिजिनल कम्प्लेक्शन नहीं है. वो वहां की क्लाइमेट की वजह से उनकी कम्प्लेक्शन थोड़ी फेयर हो जाती है. अभी उनको लाके आप वापस से गुजरात में बिठा दो तो काले हो जाएंगे वापस से क्योंकि यहाँ का क्लाइमेट ऐसा है. सो that thing, these are the things we need to check. Is it clear to all of you? First two steps of plant breeding, क्यों करते हैं, कैसे करते हैं?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure,
Yes,
लॉक
ma'am.
किया जाए. चलो, अब
Yes,
हम
ma'am.
आगे के स्टेप्स देखते हैं. I think it is
Ma'am,
very.
can I ask a question?
हाँ, जरूर जरूर बेटा.
मैम मतलब मैक्सिमम कितने प्लांट्स को हम ब्रीड कर सकते हैं एक साथ?
maximum to maximum, as much as possible. क्यों करते हैं maximum to maximum? Let me tell you, because बेटा options are there. Like अगर even if like plant breeding properly हो भी गया, कंसीडर करो रिप्रोडक्शन सक्सेसफुल हो भी गया, तो भी जरूरी नहीं है कि डिजायर्ड कैरेक्टर्स फ्यूज होंगे. आप समझ रहे हो मेरी बात? समझो आपने टू प्लांट्स में से एक का एंथर लिया और एक की स्टिग्मा ली एंड यू रब्ड विद ईच अदर एंड यू गॉट अ फ्रूट फ्रॉम दैट फ्लावर. अब we know that whenever gametes are produced there is a division called meiosis. ठीक है? और meiosis जब होती है तब एक इवेंट होता है that is called crossing over. वो एक रैंडम प्रोसीजर है, उसमें कोई गारंटी नहीं है कि जो मेल गैमेट और जो फीमेल गैमेट की फ्यूजन से आपका जाइगोट बन रहा है उसमें ये कैरेक्टर होगा कि नहीं होगा. दैट इज अप टू द, इफ यू बिलीव इन गॉड, दैट इज अप इन द गॉड्स हैंड. तो फर्स्ट प्रॉब्लम ये है कि आप उसको रब करने से क्या स्टिग्मा रिसीव हुआ, क्या फ्रूट फॉर्म हुआ, ये फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन मार्क आता है ब्रीडिंग. दूसरी क्वेश्चन मार्क आती है कि चलो फ्रूट फॉर्म हो गया, क्या डिजायरेबल कैरेक्टर वाला फ्रूट फॉर्म हुआ? हो सकता है कि वो डिजायरेबल कैरेक्टर ना हो, कोई अनडिजायरेबल कैरेक्टर उसमें से आ जाए, उसमें हमारी कोई गारंटी नहीं है. ये मैं आपको इसीलिए समझा रही हूँ बेटा, क्योंकि इसके बाद इससे आप समझ सकते हो कि जब हम ब्रीडिंग एक्सपेरिमेंट करते हैं, we do it with certain method but we cannot guarantee the result, क्योंकि ultimately the fusion of gamete depends on the random process. इसीलिए जेनेटिक इंजीनियरिंग पिक्चर में आती है, जहां पे हम एक डीएनए को पकड़ के उसको डायरेक्टली अंदर डाल दे तो वी नो कि अच्छा ये डीएनए अंदर गया, so the characters coded by that DNA will be expressed in the person. Understood? So इसीलिए maximum number of repetitions or applications you can do, it is better. There is no guarantee के first chance में आ जाए. किस्मत अच्छी रही तो 5 किया, 5 में से ही आ जाए. किस्मत खराब रही तो 100 किया, एक भी नहीं. So that's why in breeding it is suggested to have maximum number of repetitions. Understood everyone?
मैम और मतलब मेरा एक्चुअल क्वेश्चन ये था कि मतलब एक मतलब 10 प्लांट उस 10 के हमको कैरेक्टर्स चाहिए हो तो हम वो एक साथ एक ही प्लांट बना सकते हैं उसका ब्रीड करके?
10 प्लांट के केस में इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट बेटा, बिकॉज लाइक यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड के वो कैरेक्टर्स फिर एक्सप्रेस्ड भी होनी चाहिए. हर एक ऑर्गेनिज्म की लोड लेने की एक पावर होती है. ठीक है? जैसे कि आपने कभी सोचा है कि क्यों ऐसा होता है कि ह्यूमन बीइंग इज हैविंग 46 क्रोमोसोम, अगर उसके पास 48 या 47 या 45 आ गया तो उसमें डिफेक्टिव कहा जाता है ना. तो हर एक सेल की एक कैरिंग कैपेसिटी होती है, जितने नंबर और ऑफ कैरेक्टर्स वो ले सकता है. So 10 characters, fusion of 10 characters in current scenario, it is very difficult and it is no such work is done. But avenue is open and it is the era of biology, we think. So in future, it may be possible, but it is difficult to make it happen.
एंड मतलब अगर हमने ड्रॉट रेजिस्टेंट और हाई यील्ड वाला एक ब्रीड करके एक बन गया एक प्लांट, और अब हम उसको पैथोजन रेजिस्टेंट वाले से ब्रीड करें तो मतलब होगा?
You need to give it some time to stabilize. हमेशा ये जो प्रोसेस मैं आपको बता रही हूँ ना, ऐसा हम 5-10 मिनट में ये पढ़ लेते हैं, but actually this process take years. आपको 1 साल के आसपास तो जर्मप्लाज्म कलेक्ट करने में ही चला जाता है. और कलेक्ट करना मतलब आपको प्लांट्स की सीड हाथ में लेके बैठे रहने से तो होगा नहीं. उनको आपको कहीं ना कहीं सॉइल में लगाना पड़ेगा. यू हैव टू टेस्ट देम और फिर उसमें से सिलेक्ट, ये पूरी प्रोसीजर, ये फर्स्ट टू स्टेप आर द मोस्ट वाइटल स्टेप, इसी में 1-1.5 साल निकल जाता है। उसके बाद आप ब्रीडिंग करोगे, ब्रीडिंग करने के बाद आप फ्रूट हार्वेस्ट करोगे, फिर वो फ्रूट्स को वापस से लगाओगे। फर्स्ट जनरेशन में कभी भी आपको वैरायटी नहीं मिलती, इट इज मतलब F1 में कभी भी सेग्रीगेशन नहीं होता, इट इज ऑलवेज F2 जनरेशन जिसमें सेग्रीगेशन प्रॉपर्ली होता है। उसके बाद आपको प्लांट मिल गया, उसके बाद फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आपको उसको 2-3 जनरेशन से स्टडी करनी है। क्यों? क्योंकि वापस से आपको यही ट्रायल करना है कि कैरेक्टर्स जेनेटिक टाइपिक है कि नहीं, प्लांट्स जो बने हैं आर दे ऑफ डिजायर्ड कैरेक्टर और नॉट। क्योंकि हो सकता है एक प्लांट का हाइट ज्यादा देख के आप खुश हो गए, बट देयर मीन अ बेबी फिनोटाइपिक रीजन। वंस दैट इज डन, उसके बाद आपको मल्टी लोकेशनल ट्रायल करना पड़ेगा। मतलब आप अगर बोल रहे हो कि मैंने एक वीट की वैरायटी लाइक लॉन्च की है जो ड्रॉट रेजिस्टेंट है, तो आपको उसको राजस्थान में और ऐसे सब जगह पे जहां जहां पानी की कमी है, ऐसे 3-4 जगह पे भेज के चेक करवानी पड़ेगी कि क्या डिजायर्ड रिजल्ट आ रहा है। मतलब आपने अपने घर के गार्डन में बोल दिया कि हाँ ये तो ड्रॉट रेजिस्टेंट है, ऐसा नहीं है। यू नीड टू टाई अप विद द ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ओवर देयर। और अभी अभी आपने एक प्लांट के ऊपर उसके जेनेटिक मटेरियल के साथ छेड़खानी की है एंड यू मेड इट created a new variety, so you need to give it some time for its germplasm to get settled, then only obviously there are chances कि you can go for the second step कि आप उसमें further modification you can run, that is true, you can step by step. Good questions, huh, Yesha?
Okay, ma'am.
Understood? I guess it is clear to everyone now. Anyone else? Any question, beta? Isn't it interesting? I was thinking कि हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा थियरी पार्ट पढ़ रहे हैं, ये छोटा सा पार्ट थोड़ा हमारे माइंड को फ्रेश कर देगा. Then again we will go for the further reproduction procedure of the plants. So should we continue with the video next class? उसका बाकी का हिस्सा देख लेते हैं. And by the time you also think about your set of questions, I think it will be very interesting for you also. Once again, I am playing it.
The selected parents. Now, selected pure line parents.
I guess the sound is audible and the video is clear to all of you, Pata?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's have a look.
With desired characteristics. The parents are now cross-hybridized. Cross-hybridization helps to produce hybrid progeny. This helps to bring desired traits from different plant lines into one plant line. For example, if we cross a low-yielding, high disease-resistant ragi plant with high-yielding, low disease-resistance ragi plant, since the parents that are crossed are pure line, the F1 hybrid obtained will have superior characters of both the parents. The progeny here will be high-yielding and high disease-resistant ragi plant. This tendency of hybrids to obtain superior characteristics of both parents is known as heterosis or hybrid vigor. The term was coined by Shull in 1912. However, heterosis was first studied by Carl Reuter in 1763, followed by Darwin in 1876. Let us understand how cross-hybridization is done by breeders. It is done by a process called artificial hybridization. Artificial hybridization is the production of hybrids by cross-pollinating two separate plants under controlled conditions under the supervision of the plant breeder. This process of artificial hybridization in plants involves various steps. These are as follows. Selection of parents with desired characters. Care is taken while selecting parents for hybridization program. All the desired characters should be present in parents which are required in the new crop variety. Emasculation. Anthers or male parts of the flowers are removed. Now flower contains only female parts. This is done to prevent self-pollination among flowers. Bagging and tagging. Soon after emasculation, the carpels are covered polythene bags to prevent contamination of stigma by foreign pollen. Collection of pollen grains. At maturity, the pollen grains are collected from desired parent plant in dry plastic bags. Artificial pollination. When the stigma of the emasculated flower matures, the polythene bag is removed, and with the help of a brush, fresh pollen from selected plants is dusted over the receptive stigma of the female. Tagging. A tag is with relevant information attached to the plant. The tag bears the information like date of emasculation, date of crossing, and detail of male and female parents, etc. Desirable combination of variations. Seeds obtained after crossing are sown and evaluated for desirable and undesirable traits and are screened properly. Back crossing. If desired traits are absent in the progeny, then they are back-crossed again till the desired traits are obtained. Limitations. Cross-hybridization is a very time-consuming and tedious process. The cross-hybrids may not combine the desirable characters. Usually, only 1 in few hundred to 1,000 crosses show the desirable combination. Step 4. Selection and testing of superior recombinants. The hybrid obtained is scientifically checked for desired characters. If the test is passed, the plants are self-pollinated for several generations. Since the F1 hybrid has both dominant as well as recessive alleles, at every next generation, we will get wide variety of combinations. Some will be desirable and some will be undesirable. At each generation, the undesirable plants are eliminated, and the process is continued for 7 to 8 generations until uniformity or homozygosity is obtained. This will create a pure line where characters do not segregate. This pure line is called as cultivar. Cultivar is plant with desirable characters that can be maintained by propagation. To evaluate these cultivars, the cultivars are grown in research fields and their performance is recorded under ideal fertilizer application, irrigation, and other crop management practices. In India, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, ICAR at New Delhi, carries out these evaluations. After evaluations, the plants are again tested in farmers' fields for at least 3 growing seasons. The testing is done at several locations throughout the country, representing all the agroclimatic zones where these crops are usually grown. Using the test results, the cultivars are evaluated by comparing it with the best available local crop cultivars in the farms. If the new cultivar is far better than the existing cultivar, it is selected for seed multiplication. Step 5. Multiplication of improved seed. The seeds of the approved cultivars are multiplied by growing them in suitable conditions. A large quantity of seeds is obtained. The seed are then tested for quality and certified by National Seed Corporation, NSC. Such tested seeds are called as certified seeds. Now the seeds can be distributed to farmers and licensed seed sellers.
So I guess it is evident to all of you now what a strenuous procedure plants breeders pass through to get a plant. You know how many of these kind of things we are actually using in our daily life. The father of green revolution in India, Dr. Swaminathan, is known for semido of variety of wheat. And पहले ऐसा सोचा जाता था कि सिर्फ और सिर्फ बोला जाता था कि पंजाब कैन बी लाइक वन ऑफ द पार्ट वेयर wheat can be cultivated. आज इंडिया के बहुत सारे पार्ट्स में wheat can be cultivated because of there is introduction of semido variety of wheat which is developed via plant breeding procedure. So isn't it interesting? Yes or no? I know tedious, I know like time consuming, but once the result is like declared, it is like a blessing to the farmer. सोचो हमारे देश में कितनी पेस्टिसाइड्स यूज होती है which are actually killing farmers by slow poisoning, which are very harmful for like environment too. तो अगर हम ऐसा एक प्लांट वैरायटी डेवलप करें जो इंसेक्ट रेजिस्टेंट है अपने आप को, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कॉस्ट विल बी सेव्ड, second thing is pollution can be avoided, and third thing is that it will be like beneficial to farmer also. It will ensure के बहुत सारे amount of फसल खराब ना हो. Don't you think it is good? So that is how plant breeding is helpful. It's a nice kind of fresh thought we had. Now, if any question is not there, then we will again proceed towards the main part of the chapter. That is, we will proceed towards the fertilization steps. Is there any question regarding plant breeding in your mind? Any one of you? Yes, no? So I take silence as no question and I will move ahead. Okay. So let us talk about the procedure of. Yes, beta. Yes, yes.
मैम वो होमोजाइगोसिटी या वो था जिसमें सारे कैरेक्टर्स सेम ही हो.
Yesha, you know what is homozygous, beta?
Yes.
Yesha, you're not audible clearly. I think all of us are victim of network connection today. Can you repeat? Some background, yes, some background noise is coming. Yes, Yesha, can you repeat your question, please, beta?
मैम वो लास्ट में वो मतलब वो था जिसमें सारे में सुपीरियर कैरेक्टर्स ही थे, जैसे ए बी बी. तो मैम वो होमोजाइगोसिटी था शायद. तो मैम वो जरूरी है कि 7 या 8 में आ ही जाए क्रॉस ब्रीडिंग करने के बाद.
और ऐसा नहीं है 7 या 8 में आ ही जाए. द कंसेप्ट इज कि सी आई टोल्ड यू, जो सीड आपको आफ्टर प्लांट ब्रीडिंग इमीडिएटली मिलेगा, दैट विल नॉट हैव मतलब द टारगेट प्लांट. व्हाट वी नीड टू डू, दैट इज F1 जनरेशन ना. आप समझो एक हाई यील्डिंग प्लांट ले रहे हो, उसके साथ यू आर क्रॉसिंग अ ड्रॉट रेजिस्टेंट प्लांट, तो आपकी जो F1 मिलेगी that will be called hybrid. F1 is called hybrid. तो hybrid तो एक ही टाइप का होगा. It will be from one seed of the plant you will have one hybrid. इसमें वेरिएशन नहीं होगा. But when this hybrid is set, जैसे कि हम मेंडल एक्सपेरिमेंट करते हैं तो हमें एक प्लांट मिलता है, कैपिटल T स्मॉल t कैपिटल R स्मॉल r, which is called tall flower. A tall plant with red flower. Sorry. So आपका F1 तो एक ही होगा, उसमें कोई वेरिएशन नहीं होगा. बट व्हेन यू सेल्फ दिस प्लांट विथ ईच अदर, आप जब इनको सेल्फ करेंगे, then you will have various type of gamete, that is capital T capital R, capital T small r, small t capital R, small t small r. I guess you studied this in grade 10. Don't worry, if not we will study once again in 12. अब आपके पास 16 टाइप्स के प्लांट होंगे, 16 टाइप्स like will be there, or 16 options will be there. Some of them may be same also. Understood? So आपका जो variation observe होगा, that will start coming from F2 generation, and out of this F2 generation types, all of them will not be desired ना, तो हम क्या करेंगे, जो डिजायर्ड नहीं है उसको कैंसिल करेंगे, उसकी सीड को हम कलेक्ट नहीं करेंगे। समझो आपके पास 8 वेरिएशन आया, उसमें से 2 डिजायर्ड है, 6 नहीं है, वो प्लांट्स को हम आगे ग्रो ही नहीं करने वाले, वी विल डिस्कार्ड देम। जो 2 में आया है उसको नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में वापस से ग्रो करेंगे। नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में वापस से वेरिएशन नहीं आएगा, उसके अगले जनरेशन, ऑल्टरनेट जनरेशन में देयर विल बी वेरिएशन। Understood? Because segregation of characters occur at alternate generation. That's right. और once you identified, variation में भी अलग अलग होगा ना, कोई बहुत ज्यादा ड्रॉट रेजिस्टेंट है, कोई मिनिमम ड्रॉट रेजिस्टेंट है, कोई ड्रॉट रेजिस्टेंट तो आया है बट उसमें हाई यील्ड नहीं आया, कोई हाई यील्ड तो आ गया बट ड्रॉट रेजिस्टेंट नहीं आया। So you need the best out of it. So once that best is identified, फिर उसको कंसीडर करो 2-3 बेस्ट जो हमारे पास आया है, देन वी नीड टू गो फॉर ट्रायल एट डिफरेंट एनवायरनमेंट एंड ऑल, और जो सभी टेस्ट में पास होगा दैट कैन बी शेयर्ड एज अ न्यू वैरायटी इन द मार्केट। अंडरस्टूड एवरीवन? तो ये एक टीडीएस और बड़ा लंबा प्रोसीजर है, इतना फटाफट खत्म होने वाला नहीं है ये।
यस मैम।
But there is a protocol कि minimum 5 to 7 generation we study, because आशा किया जाता है कि अब by that time the germplasm gets settled and we can get the desired variety. But there is no fixed protocol कि 7 तक ही आएगा, हो सकता है 6 में आ जाए, बट हम क्यों रिस्क लें, इसीलिए 7 तक करके देखा जा रहा है। So should we move ahead? क्लास आगे बढ़े। नक्षत्र, गुड इवनिंग। No questions? If no questions, then should we move ahead, Nakshatra?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, chalo. So last day we concluded our lecture with a video. तो हमने लास्ट डे बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग चीजें पढ़े हैं। First of all, we understood and studied about pollen-pistil interaction. Okay, how actually pollen of a specific plant interact with pistil, और इस interaction में होता क्या है? What actually happens during pollen-pistil interaction? That we studied yes last time. Now the question is, once the pollen is identified the pistil due to stigma receptivity, due to the chemical interaction, due to the recognition of the surface chemicals, once pistil and pollen identify each other, now the next step will be in fertilization. First step in fertilization is pollen-pistil interaction. I think I forgot to stop the video sharing, so it may be blurred. So let me share once again so that it is clear. I guess it is more clearer than the previous one. Okay. So now this pollen-pistil interaction is preceded by the second step, that is called growth of pollen tube. So what is this step? Okay, so we know that once again I am repeating, here pollen is the male gametophyte. And as the male gametes are non-motile, so obviously they don't have like the human sperm is having a big tail, So in this case, they don't have any kind of tail or flagella or cilium. So how they will reach up to the embryo sac? So here the role of pollen tube comes. So what is a pollen tube? Pollen tube is the it's like a tube that carries male gametes to embryo sac. So now let us have a look into the growth of pollen tube, the steps. What are the steps by which pollen tube is grown, and how it is important for the carrying of male gamete to the embryo sac. So if we look into the steps, first it initiates with deposition of stigma, deposition of pollen, on stigma. Okay, what do you think will be the next step? Here a very astonishing thing occurs. One, the moment it is deposited on stigma, the pollen will absorb water and swell. So from where it will get water? Stigma is having a high amount of sticky substance which will have water also, so that water is absorbed by the pollen. So this swelling is a very important factor here, because if it is swollen, then only what we can say, the further procedure will start. Now as soon as it is swollen, as soon as it absorbs water, it gets activated. So this swelling procedure is resulting into the next step, that is called mutual recognition of pollen and stigma. Okay, once the recognition is confirming, okay, this is like the part. Due to swelling, due to presence of water, the germ pores, which are having a kind of plug made up of proteinaceous substance, this plug is removed. So germ pores are cleared. Means initially, if you consider structure of pollen, even if exantho is there, obviously to protect it from external environment, but the germ pores were also there, but they are plugged by some substance. Once they absorb water and swell, the germ pore is no more plugged by something, so it is open. It is open for development of the pollen tube. So once it is done, there will be various steps. First step is pollen tube germinates and come out via germ pore. Okay. Then what is the next step? Pollen tube move through stigma and then style. Now, how is this possible? How is this possible that pollen tube is moving through stigma and style? Does that mean the structure of stigma and style is hollow? No. Before deposition of pollen grain and the interaction of pollen with the stigma, it is totally a solid substance. There is no hollow pipeline through which it can move continuously. So we will see that 2 points are there. We need to remember. First of all, from where pollen tube is getting energy to grow and reach up to the embryo sac. You can understand कि किसी किसी फ्लावर की इतनी लंबी स्टाइल एंड इसके ऊपर स्टिग्मा रहता है, तो इतनी लंबी पोलन ट्यूब को बनना जिसकी वजह से वो स्टाइल के थ्रू पहले ओवरी को पेनिट्रेट करके अंदर जाए, फिर ओव्यूल के अंदर जाके एम्ब्रियो सैक की माइक्रोपाइल के थ्रू अंदर जाए, तो ऑब्वियसली इट विल बी रिक्वायरिंग अ lots of barrier to be removed and lots of energy. So energy उसको कहाँ से मिलती है? Initially energy is drawn from pollen, then from stigma and style. So next, this is not all. Next, still there is a problem that how it clears the path. Okay, there are presence of pectinase. Pectinase is main enzyme. Apart from that, other hydrolytic enzymes are there. So do you know what is hydrolytic enzyme? Anyone? क्या हो गया, इतनी सन्नाटा क्यों है भाई?
No, ma'am.
अच्छा, once again I will tell, हमें एक काम करना पड़ेगा. Once we catch up the syllabus of grade 12 properly, especially before we start with the chapter of molecular biology, we need to complete 3 chapters. Out of that, one we will just confirm the facts that if you have idea about cell or not. Maybe अगर आप हो सके तो एक बार आप पढ़ के देखिए cell and then we can discuss. Second thing, we need to study cell division in detail, and third thing is we need to study biomolecules. There I will tell you what is hydrolytic enzyme. Okay, अभी हम divert नहीं होते हैं, we will get confused, but we need to study these 3 chapters. Huh? Remember it. I will talk to the management and ask them like when we can think about some doubt clearance in like grade 11 chapter. So what do you think? We need to study completely these chapters, or if we revise once, it will we can collect the missing point and the other parts concept can be clarified. पूरा पढ़ना पड़ेगा. What is the situation? Let me know, Baba.
Ma'am, revision is enough.
So we will revise maybe. Okay. So pectinase and other enzymes secreted by granular epithelium of style and stigma clear the paths. So this is the way you can see that the pollen tube will grow and it will reach up to the embryo sac of a plant. Understood the first step, growth of pollen tube? Clear to everyone? Any doubts, anyone? Class. Who is guiding pollen tube? कौन guide करता है? I told you when I was teaching you the structure of embryo sac. कैसे पोलन ट्यूब को पता चलता है कि इसी रास्ते जाना है, आगे जाऊंगी तो इसी रास्ते एम्ब्रियो सैक और एग मिलेगा? देख थोड़ी ना सकता है बेचारा. हाउ विल इट नो?
मैम filiform apparatus.
Very good, Yesha. Very good. So the chemicals secreted by filiform apparatus will promote the chemotaxis movement of the pollen tube. This type of movement are called chemotaxis movement or chemotaxic movement. So chemotaxy is actually responsible for guiding pollen tube towards the egg. इसीलिए जिस तरफ egg है उसी तरफ filiform apparatus होता है. So this part is clear. As it is clear, we are moving further ahead to the next step. अब pollen tube मेल गैमेट्स को लेके पहुंच गया है कहां तक? एम्ब्रियो सैक. Once it is reaching to embryo sac, what are the events taking place? So, Kausha, how many male gametes will be there in a pollen tube? एक या दो? Am I audible, beta? Jia is raising hand. चलो जिया तुम बोलो. Can you speak a bit loudly, Jia?
मैम दो present होंगे.
दो present only. Very good. Two more participants are raising hands. So I wish to ask Kausha. Can you, beta, Kausha, tell me why we call it double fertilization? We say that angiosperms are double fertilization. Why? कौशा, हम पढ़े हैं, वीडियो देखा था हमने, याद करो. If not anyone else can answer, maybe Nakshatra, Dish. Yes, Dish, you can answer, beta.
And because one male gamete fused with two female gametes, that's why.
One male gamete fused with
two female gametes.
नहीं, वन कैसे दो के साथ फीमेल फ्यूज करेगा? आधा आधा थोड़ी ना जाएगा. शांति से सोच के देखो. जिया बोलना चाहती है. जिया बोलो. चलो.
Ma'am, one male gamete fused with the female gamete and the other male gamete fused with the polar nuclei.
So what will be the result? दो मतलब जो मेल गैमेट फीमेल गैमेट से फ्यूज करेगा उससे क्या बनेगा? What will it?
Embryo.
Zygote. फर्स्ट तो zygote, फिर एम्ब्रियो. करेक्ट. और जो पोलर न्यूक्लियाई से फ्यूज करेगा वो क्या बनाएगा? देखो ये पार्ट मैं क्लियर कर देती हूँ टू एवरीवन दैट व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड डबल फर्टिलाइजेशन. चलो यहाँ नहीं, हम रेलिवेंट ही पढ़ेंगे. बट आई एम गिविंग स्ट्रेस टूवर्ड्स दिस फैक्ट. ये 100 बार क्वेश्चन आ चुका है बोर्ड एग्जामिनेशन में कि क्यों एंजियोस्पर्म के फर्टिलाइजेशन को डबल फर्टिलाइजेशन बोलते हैं. सो काइंडली पे अटेंशन एंड लिसन टू मी. इट विल बी इजी फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, चलो let us understand the third step, that is entry of pollen tube to ovule. So pollen tube is like it started to grow when pollen pistil interaction was complete, and now it is knocking at the door of ovule and very impatient to fertilize two entities. One is female gamete, other is polar nuclei. Now, entry of pollen tube to ovule can be via three means. One, if it is like entering via micropyle, which is the most common method, we call that entry as porogamy. Sometimes due to some kind of miscommunication or lack of coordination with the filiform apparatus, or maybe some deformities towards the micropylar end, it enters to the ovule via chalaza. So if it is entering through chalaza, it's like in that case it is called chalazogamy. And if it is entering from anywhere middle to this, so anywhere other than micropyle or chalaza, we call then the entry as mesogamy. So consider if this is the embryo sac, egg cell is located here. So in that case, if this is the egg cell, consider this is the egg cell. If by any means it is entering through this end, it is called porogamy. If not, it is entering to this part, it is called chalazogamy. So there one very natural question that may come into your mind कि मैम अगर वो चैलाजा से अंदर आता है फिर वो इतना लंबा ट्रैवल करके एग सेल को फर्टिलाइज करता है? Mostly not. In that case, it will fertilize one of the antipodal cells. वो इन तीनों में से कोई भी एक एंटीपोडल को फर्टिलाइज कर देता है and zygote is formed via fusion of antipodal and the male gamete. Understood? और अगर ये ना चलाजा से अंदर आ रहा है ना कहीं इससे अंदर आ रहा है, if it is entering through any of these parts, we call it mesogamy. We call this as mesogamy. I guess it is clear to everyone.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
most common is via porogamy. Sorry, most common method is via micropyle. Others are very less common methods. So that is how it is done. Now let's take a look into the steps involved in this process. So if you start, so secretion of chemicals by filiform apparatus next is or let us include this in this point, guys. Pollen tube. So once this step is done, pollen tubes are directed towards the egg. Here comes the procedure. We are going to describe the ideal procedure considering it is entering through micropyle. If it is entering through any other path, it will be slightly different. You can understand, I told you, if it is entering through chalaza, in that case, antipodals will be getting fertilized mostly. But we are going to consider the ideal situation and look into the steps. So in porogamy, what will happen is pollen tube enter via micropyle. Why micropyle? Because it is the easiest. Because integuments, see, if anything is moving from via chalaza or any other part, then chalaza and micropyle, it need to penetrate through the layers of integument. Outer integument, inner integument, nucellus cross करके अंदर आके उसको क्या मिलेगा? Embryo sac मिलेगा, है ना? But if it is coming through micropyle, then it will have only one thing, that is nucellus. So obviously it pushes through nucellar tissue and enter to embryo sac. अब कंसीडर करो एक प्रॉब्लम होने की चांसेस है. दो मेल गैमेट्स आ रहे हैं ना पोलन ट्यूब से. अगर कभी गलती से ऐसा हो जाए कि एक मेल गैमेट ने एक को फर्टिलाइज कर दिया and the second male gamete is fertilizing one of the synergids, तब क्या गड़बड़ होगा? If one male gamete is fertilizing egg and the other one is fertilizing the synergids, क्या गड़बड़ होने की चांसेस है? कौन सी चीज है जो नहीं बनेगी जिसकी वजह से ये प्रॉब्लम होगी? एनीवन? एंडोस्पर्म नहीं बनेगा ना बेटा. There will not be formation of triploid endosperm, don't you think? तो सीड का जब तक जर्मिनेशन नहीं होगा, न्यूट्रिशन कौन प्रोवाइड करेगा? इसीलिए टू एंश्योर दैट कि ऐसी गड़बड़ वाली चीजें ना हो, like the tip of pollen tube enters in one synergids and it degenerates. So now the synergids are like they degenerated. Okay. Now what will be the, but अभी भी अपने जो male gametes है, they are inside the pollen tube, isn't it? So we need to take them out of pollen tube so that they can move to the female gamete. So the tip of pollen tube get enlarged. It rupture मतलब फट जाता है. Okay, and release most of it and release most of its content what are the present what are the things that is present in this case inside pollen tube? There will be formation, the vegetative cell will be there, and generative cell is getting converted into two male gametes, so those two things will be there. Okay, so that is how entry of pollen tube into ovule is done. Is it clear to everyone? Entry of pollen tube into ovule? Class? Any question, anyone?
हम पोलन ट्यूब किससे बना होता है?
Very good question. It's like made up of, it's actually an extension of cell membrane of the pollen cell present inside.
ओके मैम.
ये बहुत अच्छी क्वेश्चन है, मतलब दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच कैन बी आस्क्ड इन अ डिफरेंट फॉर्म कि क्या पोलन ट्यूब यूनिसेल्युलर होता है या मल्टीसेल्युलर होता है, क्या पोलन यूनिसेल्युलर होता है मल्टीसेल्युलर होता है. ये क्वेश्चन अगर मैं पूछूं कि पोलन यूनिसेल्युलर होता है या मल्टीसेल्युलर होता है, क्या आंसर दोगे तुम? जब पोलन रिलीज होती है तब वो यूनिसेल्युलर होता है या मल्टीसेल्युलर?
यूनिसेल्युलर.
येशा मल्टीसेल्युलर, उसमें दो सेल होते बेटा, वेजिटेटिव एंड जेनरेटिव, इजंट इट?
ओ यस मैम.
है ना. वेजिटेटिव सेल से पोलन ट्यूब बनता है, एंड जो जनरेटिव सेल है दैट विल फर्दर डिवाइड बाय मियोसिस टू प्रोड्यूस, और माइटोसिस मतलब मियोसिस 2 का स्टेप कंसीडर करके इट विल गिव यू टू मेल गैमेट्स. ठीक है, सो ये हमेशा ध्यान रखना है. ऐसे इसे बोलते हैं कि ट्रिकी क्वेश्चंस, ये चीजें हम जानते हैं फिर भी हम मिस्टेक करते हैं. ठीक है, सो इफ लाइक यू गिव मी ग्रीन सिग्नल कि आपको ये पार्ट समझ में आ गया है, कैन वी डिस्कस द लास्ट स्टेप ऑफ फर्टिलाइजेशन टुडे? इरेज करूं, समझ में आ गया ना ये पार्ट?
यस मैम.
तो द लास्ट स्टेप इज कॉल्ड डबल फर्टिलाइजेशन. यहाँ मैं बता के दे रही हूँ व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड डबल फर्टिलाइजेशन. वापस से मुझे कंफ्यूजन नहीं चाहिए, इसलिए सभी सुन के ले लो. ओके, एंड इफ anyone is asking you in future what is the difference between angiosperm and gymnosperm, one difference तो सभी बोलते हैं कि gymnosperm is having naked seed and angiosperm seed is covered by the fruit. Second difference आपको ये मिलेगा, in case of angiosperm there is gymnosperm there is single fertilization, and in case of angiosperm there is double fertilization. So the next step is double fertilization. So what do we mean by double fertilization? अब यहाँ पे two fertilizations are there. So pollen are having two cells. One is known as vegetative cell, other is known as generative cell. ये भी N होता है, ये भी N होता है. This will release the pollen tube. अब ये generative cell जो होती है, इसमें there will be mitosis so that it can produce male gametes and another male gamete. Okay, now both of them are having chromosome number N and N. Once they enter into embryo sac, one male gamete will fertilize the egg. Egg is having a chromosome number N, so it will give you zygote, which is having chromosome number 2N. This zygote will form the endosperm. Sorry, excuse me. It will form the embryo. From embryo, there will be formation of seed. And from seed, after seed germination, you will get the new plant. Clear? Now, what will be happening to the other male gamete? The second male gamete will fertilize the polar nuclei. Polar nuclei is a unique cell. Why? Because it is a single cell with two nucleus. That means its chromosome number is 2n. So now it is going to produce endosperm. So what is the sploidy level of endosperm? It is 3n. ट्रिप्लॉइड. तो आपको कई बार ऐसे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस एंट्रेंस में पूछा जाता है. यू नीड टू बी वेरी वेरी क्लियर अबाउट इट कि एंडोस्पर्म जो होता है इट इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर क्रिएशन ऑफ nutrition resources. So what is the main function of endosperm? It nourish cells of embryo till germination, till seed germination. So I guess it is clear to everyone why this procedure is called double fertilization. Clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So हम क्या करने वाले हैं? अगले दिन we will study the post fertilization development. So हमने pre fertilization पढ़ लिया, fertilization पढ़ लिया. Now next part will be post fertilization development. Okay. I guess this part is clear to all of you. Thank you. We can conclude the lecture. Sorry, I took 6 minutes extra, but it was redundant to leave at this hour. You can leave, beta. Gather all your doubt. We can discuss them next day at the onset of the lecture. Okay. Bye to all of you. Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.